With any media, especially on the internet, you're bound to see many types of people. And with a clash of many different types of people, you'll see a clash of cultural ideas, thoughts, and ways people live their lives. For the most part, this is fine. You get to see different perspectives, way things are looked at, and you'll see many different ways of life, and how those people will look at everything. TF2 is no different. Many groups of people log on to play TF2 on a daily basis. And sadly, furries are no different. If you've been on the internet for any part of time, you know what a furry is. A person who likes to give animals human traits and vice versa. This is nothing new, of course. If you've been on the internet for a rather long time, say 7 years or even longer, you probably have a terrible disgust of furries. If you don't like furries today, then you'd really not like furries back then. Furries themselves have a terrible habit to infest any platform or community the internet has. In a sense, furries are just the older versions of bronies, Reddit users, atheists, and musical.ly users. People just never shut the hell up about their obsessions and will piss in the community pool that they've infested to the point where you have to leave out of vile disgust. And Team Fortress 2 is not an exception. While it would be easy to say furries were just part of TF2 since the beginning, it's simply not the case. As I said earlier, any community on the internet not explicitly hating and discriminating against furries more than likely be infested with furries. They like to bring their flea-ridden asses into the communities they swarm and wipe their nasty asses all over the carpet. It's just a law of nature for the internet. Any spurg who gets to act anonymously online will do this. However, furries have no limits. They will bring their terrible habits and mindsets and just cause hell. So how does this apply to TF2? Well, raise your hand if you've seen this before. 1. Seeing people posting not safe for work furry porn. 2. Seeing overly flamboyant furries with all their classes centered around being a furry, with these cosmetics especially, rail spikes, pyromancer mask, the Hundkopf, Balluna hoodie, catastrophic companions, little bitey, Sledder's sidekick, Pyro the flame deer, cat's pajamas, and especially the head prize. Or you see any other cosmetics that make you say, yeah, they think RAR XD is actually funny. 3. Seeing people talking about yiffing, going "ow" in chat, or using terminology such as fursona, otherkin, muzzling, or making language sound quote-unquote cuter, like making hello sound like hello. 4. Having god-awfully painted cosmetics like pink, lime, black, white, etc. 5. Having furry porn on customizable items like the flare, conscientious objector, photo badge, etc. Or 6. People having furry profile pics. If you've seen at least one of these things, then you've encountered a furry. Congratulations! Now, how do you deal with these types of people? You might think it would be best to just ignore them, let people live how they want to live. However, furries cannot be treated as such. As we've already established, furries are already an infestation. If you have a cockroach, mouse, or any other pest infestation, you just don't simply ignore them. The problems they create will only get worse. So how do you deal with them? You make fun of them. Making fun of furries is a solid and great way to shoo a lot of them away. Call them out on how retarded they are. Vote kick them. No one else uses vote kicking like they should anyway, so why try to change that? Point out to them that they're most likely a 5-foot-tall, 90-pound insecure teenager and how they use being a furry as a means to cope with these issues. Discourage the use of fruity cosmetics. Actively target them if they're on the other team. Do anything you can to mock and make fun of them. Hell, TF2 is already seen as a toxic video game by so many plebs. Might as well stoop down to that level for once and try to do something helpful. Furries on the internet are like a terminal disease. You can never cure the problem. The best you can do is treat the symptoms and make yourself as comfortable as you can. And I've really had enough of these kinds of quote-unquote people. Am I preaching for a TF2 gamer revolution? No, of course not. That would be retarded and not worth my time. But if you're burnt like I am from furries infestating every source of media and entertainment I like to consume, then why not try having a little fun once in a while by poking a hornet's nest? I'd say I'm shitting on furries, but a large portion of the furries have a shit fetish, so I'd really only be giving them what they really want if I were to say I'm taking a shit on them. Weird.